Yay, we're live.
Mm-hmm.
I get the pleasure of interviewing you about some things that we've been talking about, and has been so awesome to see the parallels of how it's starting. I mean, you had this download last week, or was it the week before, to do the generational energy healing, and 2 days, and I didn't even know about it. 2 days later, I started talking to you about some in-depth things that I've been experiencing with reading Brian Weiss's book, etc. So first of all, why don't you tell us what generational healing is and what your download was?
Thanks. I'm actually excited just to talk about it. I need to talk more about it because it's easy to get distracted because you have so many things going on. But this is something I've been doing for a lot of years. I mean, in our energy healing, your grandpa's been really involved in your healing.
I love it.
He's been on your side, and we've talked about him and the fire stuff too, just a little bit. So, but my download actually was interesting. I just had really clear that it was time to step into generational healing. Again, it's something that I've already been doing. It's a gift I've had as far as the veil. I call it the veil being really thin from the physical world and the spiritual world. It's all around us, and we're living in it. There are spirits on the other side that have lived, that are going to be living, and that are helping us. And most of those that are helping us are family members, which is really cool. There's purpose in all of this, in the genealogical line, or the ancestral line, and specifically for us to come together, to know each other, and to heal is a big part of it. And so one of the things that's happened over the years of doing energy work and even massage work is that the ancestors have come through in the sessions, and they usually will support the healing and are sometimes even looking for specific things to heal themselves. They come with a desire to be healed themselves and also their past generations. So it's a really, honestly, Wendy, and I've talked to you about this many times, but it's actually some of the most poignant, most emotionally touching work that I do in my life is when I am able to be in a session and have somebody come through and support the healing of that person.
Well, I think as a testimonial to you, and hopefully it's a launching point for more information on it, is right after the fire, when my grandfather, I don't know if you remember that one time when we were doing energy healing, and Grandpa came through and said, it's now time for you to take the crutch, not the crutch, but the leaning on me, and place that presence where God is. Do you remember that?
I do.
And that shifted everything for me to where I know what I'm doing right now is because of that. And I think that's a great example of how our ancestors, I mean, he was just such a huge presence in my life, and how he is still here, and you're able to bring that link. I feel his presence, but I don't have those conversations. I don't know, I'm not able to communicate with them as well as you can in those energy sessions.
Thank you. Well, I think, I was thinking when I was around 17 or so, I was transitioning getting out of partying and drugs and just, acting out in certain ways. And this is kind of, I just feel like I should share this, so I remember I came home from a party one night. I was living with my parents still. Obviously, I was 17. I was in a senior, and I hadn't fallen asleep yet. It was probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was laying there, and all of a sudden I felt a presence over my face. This is kind of like, it was a little bit freaky, and I opened my eyes, and I saw a man over my face, and he had a huge beard and was really gruesome looking, and his energy was so insanely hateful and just very negative energy, and I screamed. And it was funny, my mom actually happened to have felt something before that point and was standing at my door when I screamed, and walked right in. She
Oh
said, I
my
felt
God.
that there was something, she just felt inspired to come to my door. And that was the first time that I had actually really seen and knew that that fail was thin for me. It was kind of a negative experience, but that moment I knew, first of all, that who I was special, which I think everybody is. So I could feel how much I was worth to God, and also that I was doing something that I was supposed to be doing, meaning stepping out of these things that were really confining my spirit and stopping me from progressing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, from that point, and I was able to then see my sister who passed. I saw her actually in a temple when I was on my mission, and saw her as she was a little bit older. She died when she was a year and a half, and so those were just the first two experiences that I had of knowing that something was different. Meaning I knew that there was a connection I had to the other side that. And I didn't share those things with people, very many people, mainly family. But as time went on and I started doing this energy work, it just started happening. I mean, I didn't intend for it to, but as I got like more open to my spiritual gifts, I noticed this link started happening more. And so it's been one of those things where, I mean, people that have felt so alone or literally have not been able to heal something in their lives, this cycle that's gone on for years and years, an ancestor will step in, give something specific that we then put into their energy, or even words that are given that can actually shift completely that cycle or whatever they've been responding to inside of their energy systems and their spirits. So I've seen it just really change lives. It's been
Well, we
pretty.
were talking about this even when I shared the experience and this was way before you, it was like months ago. Um, we haven't talked about what this work that you're going to do until about a week ago. And I remember and I'm going to be a bit vulnerable here, but I think this is so poignant to what you're doing, is of knowing that I had been raped in another lifetime, which is very strange for me because that's not, I didn't even really think about other lifetimes. And then I was talking to my sister about it, and she said her biggest fear was rape, and so is my mother's.
Wow.
So I know that if you were to go back into and we really do an intentional healing on that I know you could heal those things. And these are things that just because of what you're stepping into doing, I'm having conversations, and it's making me realize all of these things. For me, I realized my weight was from this rape that happened a long time ago, that the energy that I'm carrying. So think of how have you seen the work that you've done peel back the layers for people and give understanding around this?
Well, I think, Wendy, what would be cool is actually to do that this week, and then maybe next week, because we're going to be doing this every week for a little while, these interviews. It would be cool to actually see what changes for you. And then maybe watch that for the next month and talk about it a little bit, because I know, too, one of the things that I've learned also over the years of my own healing and then helping others go through healing is that it doesn't even necessarily mean you can actually have a response to something as if it happened to you. That's what I'm hearing you even saying with the rape, that it may not have been even you. It may have been a great grandma down the line that actually was raped.
Right.
And that energy is so strong, and that frequency is so, it can change so many different parts of your body and your cells and your brain cell. I mean, all this stuff, the DNA, and it literally does get passed down physically as birth after birth comes through. It then is, here these symptoms are showing up, right? Whether it's overweight, not being able to have the weight gone, whatever it is. And so I think it's so interesting because you've been doing so much healing, Wendy, especially the last 2 years, and to have this show up right now, and I know there's no coincidence, like you said, here I'm stepping into this, you're having that, us being best friends, and already had worked with you for so long, that there is purpose in what's happening. But this may be something that could, because you've been working on this weight for a while, I would love to see what's going to happen when we do that. So we really need to plan and schedule that. But again, I want to point out, it may not even be that you have been in a past life.
Correct.
That could have just, and that's where I think is really key. My personal belief and what I've seen over the years, it's not necessarily that life has been something you've had. It usually is an ancestor, and it becomes our life.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are so linked to our past generations and our future generations.
Well, remember when you did that, and one of the other most poignant energy sessions that I remember at the pinnacle in the last 2 years is when you removed my mother's fear and energy off of my face.
Yeah.
And judgment. What?
Yeah, that was a big one. I mean, I'm really clear on that one, remembering.
And this is all what you're talking about. And maybe what we should do, and I'm willing to, I know it's very vulnerable, but do an energy session with you live.
I think it'd be awesome, actually. Somebody else mentioned doing that, and I thought that was a good idea. Again, it's just up to whoever would want to do it. I think we were talking about that.
I don't know, but I'm saying it now. And especially as we're talking about genealogy, and this is because how many people feel, I mean, I know that, so my sister's a really good example for all her life, and I have felt it too. Not so much anymore, but when Paul and I first got married when I was younger, this feeling of someone coming in and raping me, or that fear, and I am not a fearful person of that. I'm not. I mean, I don't have a lot of fears. I'm not obsessive. I don't have those type of personalities. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So that's not a normal thing for me, but it was a constant thing, and for my sister it still is. And that probably, so I know that there is something in this that is there. Yeah.
Well, and I want to point out too, you brought something else to my mind. We're living in a world where rape is happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 1 out of 3 children are being molested. That's a statistic that's been for years, and I can't, and that's just those that know. So what's really happening in our world right now is pretty insane. And so, you know, you think about that happening all over the world. Generations are passing through. You may have had that in your generational line. So now you have, not only do you have that energy that you may be attracting, meaning even just the frequencies of what's going on around you, around the world, so now it can even multiply. So it may have started small because, again, you've been a great-grandma, and now here you are in this space in the world.
And I've had therapists ask me, have you been molested or raped? And it's like, because you acted. And I'm like, no, I've asked my dad, I remember. No. So that is so, imagine the healing work around this for you, Jen.
Well, and that's what I want to say that other piece to what I'm saying right now is, okay, think about this. So we do a healing on you, okay? And again, it's not me. I'm a conduit for that. So God's going to heal that part of you. Now you just healed generations from behind. You healed your kids' generations. Think about that frequency that you're emitting out to the world now, okay? So it's adding to the counterbalance of that frequency, that energy of rape that's going on around the world. You just strengthened not only your family line and yourself, but you strengthened those around you. That will emanate around. It really is.
Stop it from happening and being transmitted to my daughters.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I have chills while I'm talking about this, because that is the power of what this generational healing does. It is not just like it's healing us. Oh, we can heal an ancestor. No, we are literally healing the world with this. Yes. I mean, we really are. So think if many people step in, keep healing these generational lines. I mean, just imagine, seriously, Wendy, just that alone, even if you do 10 people, I mean, you could just have affected thousands and thousands of people just from 10 people being healed.
So it's time. It's time for you.
Yeah.
Time for you to do this in a public way.
Yeah. It's I will say, I've shared with you, there's been a lot of fear. I'm LDS, and And so I've had a lot of fear about what
In case
people,
someone doesn't know.
what? Well,
Explain
more.
what that is.
So it's called Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but and I live it fully and completely. I've been on a mission. I've done all that, and so, but I have been very hesitant to share what I do, especially with energy work. It's coming more open in the LDS community. But I've been very hesitant. First of all, I don't want to be considered a medium, meaning because I am speaking basically to the other side, and they're coming through and sharing messages and stuff. But I don't want to be considered that. I also,
That's I think that's a very, very good distinction, is to right now really quick to just explain how you are different from a medium.
well, I don't know. I've seen a lot of definitions of medium, but it's not coming to my mind exactly what a medium is. I just know for me, I am integrating that ancestral past, those ancestors, to step in and actually help with the healing, which I think a medium does also. They're just this conduit to connect people to the other side. So it's not necessarily that a medium is the wrong term to use. It's just I personally don't want to be considered a medium. That's just my personal
Well, I think when people go to mediums, their chief desire is to connect with the other side so that they can communicate.
Right.
You're not necessarily talking about communicating to the other side as much as you're talking about healing past energies and experiences to create healing in the person that is here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is a distinction. At the same time, the healing process that I go through with a client or a person is communication. So again, breaking down the words and the meanings of it all, it's similar. I mean, it really is similar. But again, I think we all have access to this. I have tons of friends and people who the veil is thin, and they've experienced a lot of this, So it's not, I'm not alone in this in a Christian world or in, the world or anything. But I do know, though, that it can be a very powerful thing. I was going to share really quick, too. I know we only have a few more minutes. I work with addiction and pornography and sexual addiction. And one of the things in our church that has been promised to, let me get a drink of water, promised to those with this addiction or with this issue is that as we tap into our generational lineage and do genealogy work, find them, start understanding who they are, that we actually will be protected in our homes and basically have a protection around us from the adversary or from those negative entities that are around us, or even that desire to have to be really engaging in pornography, which has a lot of rape, has a lot of abuse, has a lot of that going on. So it's interesting because that I felt inspired with and understood, and really that I took that to heart when that was told. And then here this is coming in with the energy healing. And I wanted to share too, I've shared this with you, Wendy, is that the number 1 and 2 Google searches, right? We've talked about this. Number 2 is pornography. The top searches. Number 1 is genealogy. So, I mean, if you really, I've really pondered on this. What's going on? Why would people be looking up genealogy? What is it? What's inspiring them inside of their souls to look up, and that many people around the world look up genealogy? Really, what? And my feeling and opinion is that there is a healing going on that people are doing that they don't even maybe understand that they're doing. They're feeling drawn to it because they want to heal the world. They want to heal generations. They want to feel whole, complete, peaceful. Because I just think it's so amazing that that's going on. And also, I know God is inspiring people to do these things because He knows how it can support and help in our healing processes. Pretty cool.
It is amazing, and
really exciting.
It really is, and I think there's a piece that, when I read that book, the one by Brian Weiss about the reincarnation, his book is about, it talks about the transcendence of love through the centuries, and people show up in this life as mothers, brothers, sisters, the whole thing. And I think and he talks about, that's my 11 o'clock. Hang on just 1 second. Sorry, Jen.
That's right.
Hey. Okay, sorry, I gotta.
No, it's all right. You know what I was thinking would be really cool to end on? Because I think you had a great point with love, and I know you were going somewhere with that, but just because you have somebody there. You know, Wendy, honestly, really, what is the point of all this? What is the point? Yeah, it's linking us together. It's creating this openness. It's creating healing. Well, what, to me, personally, why we do this, why I'm doing this, is because it increases our frequency. That highest frequency is love, is Christ's love, especially God's love. And so, to me, this is an opportunity for us to create more space inside of ourselves, inside of our energy, inside of our spirits, to be able to just access more love. Because there's
huge.
These blocks. And so to me, that's like, that's the key. That's why I'm doing it.
And that's where freedom comes from, is blocking those patterns of communication and non-communication and going in the past and doing that. So I think that is the mission. That's the point, and I love that, Jen.
It is. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I was thinking, so let's set up something, and then we can share maybe next week what happened with your healing and the.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Rape and all that stuff. I think it'd be awesome.
Okay. Well, we've got this down from 10 to 11. I've got it down for every day from here on out. So
every Tuesday.
We'll keep doing these, and then we'll do an energy session in between.
Yay! All right. Thank you, Wendy. Love you.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. I'll talk to you. Bye.